Julian, be honest, is it corny? Are you sick of us teasing you about, I'm just saying.
No, it's not too bad.
Okay, all right. I met your parents earlier and I didn't dare ask them, but I figured I would just ask you. Is everybody's mics on? There we go.
Mine's good.
Fernando?
Hello? Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I love it. So we have a lot of people in this room who have been in leadership positions. We have people in business who want to hear more about leadership because you are young men who are thrust into the limelight suddenly. And so I want to start with you, Jeremiah, because you have had to step up. I read something your mom was talking about. You were shy and quiet as a younger kid. And now here you are as a spokesperson at one of the most prestigious universities in the world. How have you been able to use your football platform to really become a successful leader?
When I try to use my football platform, I try to spread love. This kind of sounds, my last name is Love, but it's really the truth. I try to spread love through my play, and then, off the field, I try to inspire people with my comic book Jeremiah Star to just be themselves. Because at the end of the day, I'm here because my parents did a great job raising me and allowing me to be myself, which I want everybody else to do. I want them to be themselves, be authentic, and you have the best outcome in doing that. So that's how I try to use my football just name.
I love it. Okay, I want to settle one fight that I'm feeling brewing with your parents right now. So your dad was trying to convince me that he was pretty athletic, but he was like a drummer and more creative. But mom was a basketball player, so where do you get the athleticism from?
From my mom.
I knew it. Latoya, I knew it. Sorry, Dad. You heard it from him. Okay, Fernando, I just keep raving about this podcast you did, and if you haven't listened to it, please go listen to it. You were so good. But one of the things I took away was you were a reader, and before you go to bed at night, you'll read books. 10 minutes here or there, and you were reading Mind Gym and another interesting book that I think your center, Pat Coogan, recommended to you. Where have you went to Cal Berkeley, you've already got your degree, you're working on a master's degree, you're already such a smart young man, but how have you continued to extend yourself and grow your knowledge every step along your way?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say my next read is going to be Jeremiah's book, for sure.
You're a monster, okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's get in one.
Yeah, so throughout my journey, I've always had to learn. And although I've always seen people, get in the way, and everyone always says work ethic beats talent. And the way to have a hard work ethic and to really understand what you're getting into is to learn. And so whatever, my ego gets in the way, I always try to push it aside and always try to learn. So I always limit to myself or, have a rule where I want to read 10 minutes before every night I go to sleep in order that I'm learning, whether it's self-improvement, whether it's a leadership book, or whether it's just a fun read. Whatever it is, I always want to be learning on the football field, whether it's off in academics or it's just reading and learning more about people's stories and people's lives.
Okay, give us a good recommendation. Like, what was something you learned this year, not football related, that you could share with the room?
Yeah, I would say one of the largest lessons that I learned this year is the importance of caring for other people, and one of the great ways to do that is the lost art of personal notes. A mentor told me that, whenever you send a handwritten note, it always means more than a classic email or text, and then so I started doing that to people who've impacted my life in the past. And when I was able to do that, I saw the overwhelming support and how much it meant to those people, and with that, that's something interesting I learned, and I look forward to keeping that habit in the rest of my life.
I love that so much because I, as a mother, have been trying to get my son to write personal handwritten notes for 30 years. Son, you're here tonight. Now that he's saying it, will you believe me? You hear it? You hear it? I love it. Okay. I agree because I have gotten personal notes from Mike Krzyzewski, Tom Izzo, Pat Summitt, Kirk Ferentz, and I've kept them in a file. It means the world that people of their character and stature would write me a handwritten note, so I love what you're saying there. Okay, Julian, I'm fascinated by this because last year we're doing this incredible run. I did every single Ohio State game as they worked their way to a national championship, and you're there and you're practicing, but you don't get to play. And now you step in as a redshirt freshman and have the year of, one of the best years in history at that school. What did you learn during that championship run that you're trying to emulate and create in your own way as a leader on your team?
Yeah, I think just, seeing that team last year, they had so many veterans, guys like Emeka, Will, just leaders on that offense, and, a lot of things I took from Will was just how he prepared and then, how he made everybody feel in the building. And, I'm not a super outspoken guy, so I think I was trying to, learn that and build that in the building, just kind of have everyone behind you and get everyone on your team is what it really was, I was trying to do it in our facility.
I think it's interesting because you were new this year. Fernando, you have transferred into Indiana, and I've talked to other guys who've transferred in. I remember when Joe Burrow transferred into LSU and how he tried to attack that. And his philosophy was, I'm gonna win every single drill and weightlifting thing, so I'm not gonna say things and talk, I'm gonna do. And that team fell in love with Joe Burrow, and as you know, that resulted in a national championship and a Heisman. We all have seen him here in this room. So how did you two both feel like you could talk and be the leader? How did you develop that?
I think you just got to build credibility with your teammates, and just build that trust, and build that off the field relationship. They have to know that you're a hard worker on the field, but then also what your habits are off the field and the type of person you are.
So you have to show them that you're serious, and then they'll listen. How did you do it?
Yeah, I have to agree with Julian there, especially coming from the transfer portal, especially all the craziness. The transfer portal can have a little bit of a negative sentiment sometimes, especially people leaving for different reasons. However, I wanted to make sure that every player on the team knew that I cared for them. So what my technique was, I made sure I saw all the roster photos and memorized everybody's names. So when I first got there, I would call them by their names, like, oh, he cares about me. He's not just a transfer portal quarterback going there for maybe money or maybe for a better situation. He cares about me. So okay, he cares about me. I'm gonna play hard for him, and I know he's gonna play hard for me.
I love that. I'm Holly Rowe. Will you remember me? Because I think I will be covering the Rose Bowl. So please remember me moving forward. I love that. So Jeremiah, you have been with your team, and a moment in your career really stands out to me that deals with what we're talking about, a little bit of like loyalty, right? So we get to the national championship game last year, and you're not 100%. And you still go out there and try and focus and give your team what you can throughout the college football playoffs. Why was it so important for you, and has it been important for you this year to continue to elevate and show up for your teammates?
Last year was important for me because I know each and every one of those guys on that field with me would have done it for me, would have played for me. Whenever I step foot out there on the football field, I'm playing for my brothers and putting everything on the line for them. Whether I'm healthy, whether I'm not feeling it today, like I got to put it on the line for them because I know they'll do it for me. And as far as this year, same mindset. I play for my brothers. I know they play for me, and I want to make them look good. I know they want to make me look good, and it's a strong brotherhood in Notre Dame. So I'm always playing for those guys. I'm also playing for the fans that spend their hard-earned money to come and see us play. I don't care if I'm not healthy, I'm sick. I'm going to go out there and play because they spend their hard-earned money to come see Notre Dame play, and I happen to be on the Notre Dame team. So I want to be able to show out and give them something to see.
Personal pride, right? Personal pride still has a role in college football. This new era, I think some of us feel like, well, kids are transferring and it's a little bit more mercenary, or where can you get the best deal or what have you. But that locker room is still good. You're telling me that you're still going to lay it down for your brotherhood, and that's still that feeling that we've all chased in college football. It's still real. Give me an example. You feel it? Okay.
100%. I mean, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Notre Dame is my home, and ever since I stepped foot on Notre Dame's campus, I've been trying to make a point that I'm going to stay where I started. I'm going to finish where I started. I mean, there's been plenty of reasons people have brought up as to why I could go somewhere else, do this and that, go get more money, but no. I'm going to stay with my brothers. I'm going to be loyal to them and just love them, man. That's really what I try to do, and that's really what I want others to see, because loyalty can take you a long way. And guys that I played with on that team are my brothers for life, so yeah, gotta be loyal.
I gotta be loyal. There's different versions of that though, and Fernando, you told a really sweet story. Like you went to Cal, you had one offer to Yale, last sec, like you went to something like 17 football camps as a kid trying to get somebody to see you, and they just didn't, right? So you end up at Cal, but you have to take a move to make another step for yourself and your family, right? You're in a different situation than he is. How hard is that type of decision when you know it's right, but it's hard too? You said you were in tears at times making that decision, but you did it, and it has worked out.
Yeah, the University of California, Berkeley gave me an incredible experience. Spent 3 years there, got my diploma there. I'll be an alumni forever. However, like you said, I knew I needed to make the move. And I think the hardest thing that Jeremiah alluded to in the previous statement is leaving the locker room. The locker room is what I've heard from a lot of coaches. The reason that coaches come back to coach is that players come back to universities, and those lifelong brotherhoods. At that point, a lot of my friends had graduated, and I wanted to join another lifelong teammate and my brother at Indiana and have a really unique experience there. And now I'm proud to say I have 2 groups of lifelong brothers in Berkeley, and then also in the University of Indiana. And I'm just so honored to be in both, have attended both universities.
It's beautiful. Julian, my favorite thing I saw all year on any show, any college football program, and forgive my language, but it's not mine, I'm quoting someone. You went to the University of Alabama, and Nick Saban said I was a dumbass and didn't tell him he could play, so you end up at Ohio State. And I love that a coach of Nick Saban's caliber, he just got inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame this week, was willing to admit that he was wrong on your behalf. I think that's pretty cool. What did you think when you heard, this is not in the script, but I just wanted to ask you, what did you think when you heard that? Because he called himself a dumbass, and I think that's hysterical.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.